Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kim Scouller, and I'm beyond thrilled to welcome you to this very special gathering as we come together to honor Women's History Month. And, as I talked to Sharon about it, we typically do this every year at the end of March to kind of put an exclamation point on Women's History Month. This is a time that we dedicate, we celebrate not only the journeys that we've taken, but also the bold paths we're forging for the future. We reflect on our great achievements, and we've had so many, especially in Wealth Wave. But there are several hurdles we have yet to overcome and a lot of opportunities that lay ahead. With Financial Literacy Month in April just around the corner, this is really the perfect chance to focus on something that's deeply important to each and every one of us, and that's economic empowerment. Now, last week, I had the privilege of sharing a simple but powerful message during an appearance I did on Fox TV in Cincinnati. It's a message that's resonated with so many people, and I want to share that today. Money doesn't care whether you're a man or a woman, but life does. And I'd want to add one more thing to that. Money may be neutral, but opportunity isn't. The reality is that barriers still exist, gaps remain unclosed, and challenges persist. But it's up to us, individually and collectively, to take meaningful steps to close those gaps, not just for ourselves, but for the young women watching us, learning from us, and dreaming even bigger dreams because of us. When we succeed, we pave the way for every generation to come. We've been incredibly privileged to, welcome some wonderful guests who are going to talk to us today. Our conversation is not just about information, it's about inspiration. And I hope it challenges you to think differently and moves you to take action. And let it remind you of a really important truth that your financial future is not just in your hands, it's in your mind and in your voice. Because when women understand money, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world. We create ripples of progress that extend far beyond ourselves and impact our families, our communities, and societies in profound ways. So let's dive in, learn, grow together. Thank you all for being here today to invest in yourself and this really important conversation. So let's get started. So we were very fortunate during convention to bring together several female leaders in the financial services industry. Among them was Wendy Boyd, who is the Chief Distribution Officer for World Financial Group. You can see in this picture, we were doing a podcast interview, and I hope all of you take a chance to listen to that podcast interview because the words from these incredible women leaders it was just very inspiring. But Nationwide's President Holly Snyder, Transamerica Financial Advisors President, Michelle Berry, and then our very own Wendy Boyd. And Wendy was so kind to and generous with her time to agree to be with us today. And so I asked Wendy to talk to us about, what it is to be leading from the front as a woman in financial services. So Wendy, thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, and I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Kim. I am so honored to be with the Women of Wealth Wave, and I love that we're going to touch and help 1 million women take control. That is so awesome. When Kim asked me to speak to you guys today about leading from the front, I thought back to my career and I wanted to share just a couple of little tidbits that I think empower people to follow you. And creating followership is absolutely critical in the business that we're in. So number one thing that I think we have to do as women in taking control and leading from the front is take initiative. Be actionable. the actions that we take lead by example. More importantly, you can't just be available. You've got to be present. And when I say be present, that means you've got to be visible, physically, face to face, visible. The world is changing. Trust matters. And the way that you build and create that trust and credibility starts with the connection, right? So that's number one. Number two, you do have to lead by example. Show your team that you're willing to do everything it is that they're willing to do to take charge and to touch these million women that we're going to touch. Number three, we have to be accountable. You know, I'm leading a new initiative here at World Financial Group and creating business development teams that can really help us bring greater value and be significant to our leaders in the field at WFG. And I've told many of the people that I've talked to about building this team is that, you know what, we may not get it right the first time, but we will be agile and we will adjust to the capability of our being capable of adding that significance and changing. You know, course correct is very important. And the only way that you can course correct is to own what happens. So that is number three. And then the fourth thing that I would share with you, there's a great little book out there. It's called ZAP, The Power of Empowerment. And it's, you know, maybe a 30-minute read, but I totally believe in empowering your team. You can't micromanage them. You've got to have the vision and you've got to be present and communicate it, articulate it very clearly. But leading from the front means that your team knows that they can follow you, but you're empowering them to do what they need to do to build their platform, to build their footprint, and to create their value of significance to the people that they touch every day. There's a t-shirt that I bought myself years and years ago, and I totally, if you're leading from the front, you will you know, kind of resonate to this t-shirt. It's from Salty Dog Cafe in South Carolina, and the back of the t-shirt says, if you're reading this t-shirt, I'm the lead dog, right? So that's the back of the t-shirt, and that is leading from the front. People will go to battle with you when you follow these simple principles. And these simple principles, the four things that I just mentioned, it will build trust and it will build credibility, and people will lead and follow you through the storms and through the winds. That's very, very important. The last thing I want to lead you with, when you talk about touching a million people, securing the financial future of women and teaching them how money works is so important. I was just referring to some statistics recently that Pack Life shared with me, and 39% of women own a business, and that continues to grow. And you all have heard the statistic that over $30 trillion will be managed and or owned and led by women. So women are going to have over half the control of money in our country. And then the third statistic that worries me most is that only 46% of women, compared to more than 52% of men, are fully protected. And that's one thing I love about WealthWave's promotion of Shop Your Term. You see, Transamerica just recently improved their term rates. And I believe that part of the reason they improved their term rates is because they want to win in your market of shopping your term. So we have an opportunity to change this statistic from 46% of women to be equal and or better than the men that are protected in our country. So Kim, I hope this has been helpful to you and your team and hearing from me about leading from the front, but I'm so honored and I just love being a part of this group. Thank you so much.
Well, Wendy, thank you for being here with us today and at convention. You've had, I mean, just in the short time that you've served as the Chief Distribution Officer, you've had such a tremendous impact. And we feel you out there making things better for all of us in WFG and Wealth Wave, but I know your heart's with the women. I
That's
know
exactly right. Thank you, Kim,
that.
so much.
Thanks, Wendy. So, you know, there are so many women in Wealth Wave who are leading from the front. Included in that are some really amazing women in Portland, Oregon. Many of you all may know that I was recently out in Portland, and Krista Matthews joined me out there for a great event that they had in Portland. Oops. Sorry. I tell everybody else to make sure your ringer's off. And there I went and I kept mine on. Anyway, they had the event in their office, and it was shoulder to shoulder, standing room only. You can see Krista at the front of the room, but it was an amazing turnout. Um, and there's another picture of some great women in the Portland office. And then they had these wonderful cookies. One of their partners is a cookie maker and made these beautiful cookies that showcase the cover of our books. So, as great examples of women leading from the front, I asked Julie Johnson and Holly Boschler to be with us today. Now, Julie has hosted women's events for years. She's done it on a regular basis. And so, Julie, as someone who's been holding regular events, could you maybe speak to why that's so important and how that's impacted your business?
Well, thanks, Kim. I would be happy to share, and hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. Let me know if not. Yeah, the word I think of for me, and maybe for some of you, is the word consistency. It's all about consistency. And so, yes, I had been doing events, How Money Works events regularly. And when the women's book came out in the summer of 2023, that was such an exciting moment for all of us. And I did a number of virtual events based on the book and the book's presentation and so forth. And then I decided early last year that I was going to host in-person meetings again. And so starting in May of last year, since May of last year, I have done 6 in-person women's events using the women's book and presentation. So I've done it every 6 or 7 weeks consistently. And what I discovered was that several things. Number one, why do I do it every 6 to 7 weeks consistently? Because what we've discovered is that people are now beginning to anticipate, when's the next one? I know someone I need to invite. That was the reason for that. Also, the other thing I did was I selected women to represent characters in the book at each of these events. Why did I do that? Well, these were women that I would love to be in business with. They are businesswomen on their own right. They are in businesses that are complementary to what we do. And one day they're all going to be on my team. In the meantime, I'm asking them to help with my events. Why? Well, they're inviting their own friends and business clients and so forth. So I'm reaching into new markets by doing that. And they did a great job. And it was interesting for women to hear a woman representing a character that they truly relate to because they have the same experience. And so the last thing that I'm doing consistently is I'm inviting to the events anyone, even if they've already come, and I'm telling them to come back and bring a friend. And what I've noticed since I've done 6 since last May, the first 3 we got our feet wet. We figured out how to do it better. You know how that can be, everyone. And since the December event, I have noticed that people are coming back and they're bringing their daughters, they're bringing their sisters, they're bringing their friends. And so what's happened is there's an anticipation that there's going to be another one, and they're going to come back and they're going to bring someone that I would never know about unless they did that. And so the consistency has created this gradual growth from my own circle of influence or my own degree of separation to a new one and a new one and a new one. And that's what we want. And so we have had really good success doing that. So we're going to continue.
Oh, well, that's great. And when I was out in Portland, a woman came up to me and introduced herself to me as the May character in the book. She was wonderful. And so I love that you have different women in your community represent characters that resonate with them, and they tell their personal story as well as the story of the character. And I think that is just such an ingenious way of really, reaching out to women in a way that is so personal and kind of fun as well. So when I was in Portland, I had this great conversation with Holly Boschler. And Holly, you told me how you were um, really inspired at the Women's Day at convention. And so you went home to your small community in Oregon and you were determined to have your first women's event. And so it's kind of scary. I know there are a lot of women on this Zoom meeting who want to hold an event, but one of the biggest fears is, what do I do? And how do I get people there? And so if you could maybe talk about your experience hosting your very first event in your small community.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me on, Kim. It's funny, some of the things that the bullet points that Wendy went through, that's exactly kind of what happened on my flight home. After going through to convention, my husband, who's not in the business but is my great supporter, came, and on the flight home, you're all riled up and ready to go and take on the world. And so we put together a list of what we, labeled action items. And number one was, I've got to do a women's event. It's easy to hide behind getting busy, and all the excuses come out that if you don't pick a date and just make it happen, it's not going to work. And so that was the action item that we started with. And so I started by reaching out to a couple, where are you going to have it? I actually have an office in my small town. And when I say small town, our population here is 3,500. And so I was going to have it at my office. I have a classroom there, but I decided I wanted to get out of my office and go have it at a different location that maybe would bring some more attraction. Coming to my financial center sometimes isn't as attractive as come to this really nice restaurant. So I started by reaching out to some women that I knew that had their own businesses. One was a vineyard and one was a restaurant. The vineyard was a little bit pricier than I wanted. And then the restaurant is at the neighboring town that's a population of 10,000. So a little bit bigger than my town. So I reached out to the owner of that restaurant, and they actually are closed on Wednesdays. And so I asked her if I could have an event on Wednesday evening when they're not open, and just order appetizers from her. And then we provided beverages. We had wine there. And I have found that, if you feed them, they will come. So even if a lot of people initially had signed up thinking that they might just come for some appetizers and wine, they actually got a great education out of it also. So the gal she was so gracious. She didn't charge me to use her place. I mean, I paid for the appetizers and the wine, but she did not charge me to do that. So it was initial investment, but investing in your business is a big part of what we do. And so I had my event, and then my advertising was a flyer that I put on Facebook. And ironically, out of that, I actually got some clients that they're not even in the state, but they saw my flyer and were interested. So I, having never done it before, I had to buy a projector, and I brought a white screen and went and presented. And out of that, just with that advertising, I originally had 16 that RSVP'd, so I was pretty pumped up about that. And I actually had 28 women show up to the event. So felt like little old me, and 28 women coming was just such a turnout and so exciting. And the age ranges was also very inspiring. We had young people, and then we had women that were very close to retiring. And so that was just really wonderful turnout. And then to the follow-up, that's the key. You get them there, then you got to follow up. And I actually had 13 women out of the 28. Some of them were family members, so maybe I just won't count them. But 13 people that I had never had contact with on the business side. I got their contact info, and then so far I've done 8 appointments out of that. And that I had that February 28th, I believe. So end of February, I had that event. And so I've written a couple of variable annuities, and I've written some insurance. So that investment in the projector and the appetizers and the wine has more than paid for itself. And I haven't even done all the appointments yet.
That is so incredible. Your very first event, you're from a small community, you go to a little bit bigger community, hold an event, more women show up than registered. And you are helping so many people in that community. So Holly, here's the question. Are you going to do it again?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And you know what was also awesome is the amount of people that said, I would love for, and they listed family members. And so I said, we actually have classes too that aren't just for women. And so I haven't put that on the calendar yet because I've been so busy with the activity from the first event, which is awesome to feel so overwhelmed that way.
That is amazing. That when I heard your story, I was just so inspired. So thank you so much for sharing that, Holly.
Thank you.
So, after Portland, Krista and I traveled to Sacramento, had a wonderful meeting with a great team there, and then went on to Modesto, where they had an incredible women's event. I wanted to share some of the pictures from that event. Um, you can see, look at the room. The room was just stunning that we used for this women's brunch on a Saturday. And then we took a picture. Some of the women had already left, they had left early, but at the end of it, we wanted to get a picture with this beautiful staircase. And so I asked Angie Gentry and Cheryl Mayor to talk to us about that event. And, they came up with some really great ideas for getting people in the room, because that is one of the big fears that you have. And so, Angie, I'm going to start with you. If you could talk about, how you went about inviting women to attend this event, because it was a full room.
Okay, I was going to actually let Cheryl start, but I'll go ahead and start since you asked me. One of the things I did was I invited women that had come to previous events that we've had before. I think, inviting women that you've already come, just as I think it was Julie that shared that she invited people that had come to previous events. It may not be their first event, but their second event might be something that they hear that triggers them to really make a difference in their life, for them to really look at what's important and make that change. So I really wanted to contact the people that were previously invited and encourage them to also share it with people that they care and know, because you never know who might come with them. I actually had 3 generations there, and it was my niece and my great niece that was there that showed up. I've invited her to many women's events before and they never showed up, and they showed up at this one. So that was amazing for me to have the family there and show up. Another thing that I've also done is as I was out and about walking around talking with people, one was at a doctor's appointment I went to. I had to go get some testing done. I had signed in to register for it, and I had gotten a call from somebody, and I was sharing with them on the phone call, and that girl says, I'd love to be part of your event. We've had we created a promotional partnership with women in business, and she was a woman in business and loved what she heard and that we were doing, so we use them as partners to help our event. I have actually three appointments with the women that were promotional partners that I'm going to be setting up with this in the next week. So, you just never know what's going to make your event happen. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. It's Women in History. We wanted to work with the women in our community to really help build that relationship with the women in the community. So that was one of the things that I did, and to really make a stronger, to help with making a stronger event attendee. I actually followed up with those people many times. I did it 2 days before and the day of, and pretty much everyone I invited showed up. There was only one person because she was ill. So all the people that I invited, like I said, showed up. So that's one way. And then after we got done with the event, it's really important that you follow up with them. I sent thank you cards or emails with them, and I just asked them, hey, what did you like? I know you filled out our survey card. What was it that you liked about it? We'd love to get your feedback. And said, hey, would you like to sit down and schedule an appointment to see if there's a way that we can help you and your family, or help you as an individual, whatever, what have you. So they scheduled appointments with that. So that was some of the ways that I had invited people to come. There's many, there's many more, but I'm gonna let Cheryl share how she did it, because she did some really good thinking outside the box, and was great at bringing a number of women to our event. So Cheryl, I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak.
So Cheryl, I mean, just the creative way that you helped fill that room with amazing women, young women. I mean, the energy was incredible. So if you could maybe talk and tell us about what it was you did.
Sure. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. We had an awesome event. I'm actually going to point on two things that Wendy talked about, and it's connecting and accountability. I held myself accountable for everybody that I invited, and I kind of took a different approach. I have a video app that sends videos and texts at the same time. So I did a video of myself inviting everybody personally, and then with it, as it went out and connected with all my people, as we all have in our phone, many people that we can connect with through our phone, and that seems to be the way we are connecting now, is via text. But I wanted it to be live. So I did a video and a text, and it went out to everybody. And you'd be surprised with the amount of people that commented back, "Oh, I'd love to go. Oh, that sounds like a great event." So I did that a month ahead of time, just sent a teaser out. And about 2 weeks prior to the event, I sent another one just to follow up. You know, it's filling up. We'd love to have you. Sent that again, and then started on the phone and started following up with those who had reached out. And not just those who reached out, basically everybody I sent it to. And that's how my count started. With that, I also sent a mass email through our email campaign. I sent 2 of those out. And the people just really enjoy that connecting and talking to you personally. I also went to women businesses in our neighborhood, in our town, hometown, and in Modesto, and connected with them. And we also did door prizes. So we were able to bring women businesses in, and through that, tell them what we did. And we're just right around the corner from them. So I have a few appointments set up with the women businesses, as well as I've already done 5 who have come to our event. And I still have a lot of people on the list, but our biggest thing I want to tell you that really brought people, when I hit those businesses, I asked them if they enjoyed educating their employees. And they're like, absolutely. So I sold tables. So we did buy a table of 8 and you get 1 free. And I was able to fill 2 tables for sure. And then through my other people scattered throughout, but I had 2 solid tables of people who brought. And one of them, I wanted to make sure that we had representation of all ages. I reached out to the Girl Scouts leader in town in the Modesto area and asked, she was very interested in our financial education that we offer. And I asked her, she wanted to start doing sessions here in the office. And I said, well, if it's not too much, I'd love to offer you a table at our event and have your girls come and see the 2 authors that we have, because they're truly going to be talking about everything that would resonate with them. And she put a full table together, and we had them right up front there for Krista. And she has actually come in, and she actually is probably going to be a recruit of mine because she wants to continue the campaign and educate.
That's awesome.
Wow, that is fantastic, Cheryl. I loved, that kind of out of the box thinking and, offering tables to business owners. You filled that room, both of you together. It was really incredible. Now, one of the questions that's come up a lot on the chat, Cheryl, is what video app did you use?
It's called Reach.
REACH?
REACH, yes.
Okay.
It's called
Fantastic.
Reach, and you can get a free one, and it allows you, it's really cool because you can send a mass emails out, or excuse me, text and videos out to people on it. The free app allows you to do 8 at a time, but if you pay for it, then you can do a full mass, and nobody knows. They think it's just coming from you individually. So your feed comes back to you and doesn't have the CC on it, so they can see it. Doesn't look like you put a mass email out or text out to people.
Wow, I love that. I love leveraging technology
Yes.
and all of the, like the tools that Tom Matthews creates for us to, help reach more people, in particular, 1 million women. Well, the other thing that I just want to comment on for the Modesto event, it was such a collaborative event. I mean, all of the leaders in that office came together and helped put that event together and made it such a great success. I really, hats off to all of you for all of the work that you did, hard work putting an event together and filling the room. It was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next I want to share with you kind of some neat things that another group of women leaders are doing, leading from the front. And these are amazing women in the New Mexico and surrounding state area. They, for example, got How Money Works for Women on Telemundo. And then they've been holding a series of events. I'm going to show you some photographs from some of the events that they've had, just filling the room with these amazing Latina women who want to know how money works, who want to have a better understanding of how money works and what we do and how they can be better. Now, I wasn't able to go in person to these events. So one of the things that we did for them was to create a video. They had 5 different meetings. I think some of them are still, they haven't had the event yet, but we recorded videos in English with a little bit in Spanish. To all the incredible women here in Dilley, Texas. Hello, Tucson. Isel and Coco have put together something truly special for you today. A huge welcome to all of you in Albuquerque. Wichita, your moment is here. Welcome to this incredible gathering of women who are here to take charge. Did you know that 80% of men die married, but 80% of women die single? But here's the good news. Our influence is growing. This is your time to move forward with confidence and claim the future you deserve. Hola a todas y gracias por estar aquí hoy. Las mujeres estamos en un momento clave. ¿Están listas? Este es su momento. So I share that with you all so you know that you don't have to have me or Krista or Lauren at your event. We can, create a video for you that's just for you and your event. It was wonderful creating that for Yusel and Annabelle. And so I want to ask Yusel and Annabelle to unmute yourselves and let's talk about these amazing events that you all just held.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for this opportunity to talk a little about our work. We are working in the Spanish community. English is my second language, so I have my notes here so I don't forget anything. But thank you for your support. We are working hard in the community. After the Dallas Convention, we plan a couple events in different states. So last week we were in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The next Saturday, 29, we will be in Wichita, Kansas. And April 5th in Tucson, Arizona, and the last is in San Antonio, Texas. But everything is in Spanish. By the way, your Spanish is good. Thank you for these videos. I'm happy for everything we are doing in the community. Our vision is to create a movement in the Spanish community to educate people and teach people how money works only in Spanish. So that we were working with television, Telemundo, radio, consulates, nonprofits, organizations. Thanks to these connections, the Albuquerque, New Mexico events was a complete success. We had 241 guests attend. So it was amazing. But Annabelle, she was work with me. I never alone because she was with me whole time. So Annabelle, can you explain, please, everybody the details of the event in Albuquerque, please?
Annabelle, you may need to unmute yourself.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. So after the convention, we back to home with a lot of energy and planning to do, to be success in our business. So we planning the women event, and we decided to have some one person in a specific who can be very popular or very extra powerful in our community. So that's why we decided to contact the reporter from Telemundo. And it was so grateful because the only thing what I did is take action and send a message to just a general phone number. And for my surprise, she replied to me next day saying, yes, she will be so happy to attend to our meeting. And if we need anything extra, she will help us. So what we finally did is that we went to Telemundo and record in our advertising. So she helped us to advertise the event on Facebook as well. And she offers to give us some financial education segments once a month to be in Telemundo, because we want to communicate or to bring this communication to the community to know how they can manage the money. So it was a great start with her. So I use the same technique with all the women that we have in our event. Giselle and I, we take time and call them and invited them. Sometimes we had to take 2 or 3 or even 4 times trips during the day just to drop off an invitation. And so we do a lot of work one by one. I think that's why one of those key is that success, because we take the time to invite and to make this event so grateful. And we have a lot of good comments. We're still receiving a good comment from the event because people, they're just waiting to see what we're gonna bring next year. And I was like, hold on, we just finished this one. So let's give it some time to prepare for the next one. And they're so happy. Everybody is so happy. And right now we're working with our agenda, and we just doing follow-ups. We have full agenda for next week. A lot of people signing for either coming to the business, or for taking some classes, or even just for fun. But we have a lot of work to do, and we want to bring this to the community, to the Hispanic community, because we know we have a lack of information, especially on financial education.
Well, I love what you, Annabelle, and Yusel are doing. And you all know Tom Matthews is committed to translating all of our books into Spanish. And so we hope to see the women's book translated soon. I had a lot of fun recording the video, especially the Hispanic portion. And I have to give a big shout out to my Spanish coach, Vanessa Walker in Jacksonville, Florida, who listened to me say those words over and over and over again until I had everything, I won't say perfect because it was never perfect, but in a really good shape. And I was glad to be a part of it, even though remotely. And so it is a great message for all of you that we can do these things for you. We can create these videos and have these amazingly successful events that Isel and Annabelle and Coco and others are having in the New Mexico and surrounding areas. So, I want to go next to Caitlin Lakey in the Dallas, Plano, Texas area. You all know that convention it requires a lot. It's a huge team effort. And Caitlin was a big part of making sure that the Women's Day was so incredibly successful. Not only was she helping us put that event on, but Caitlin is out there every day in many ways, reaching out to so many women to be part of our 1 million women take control. And so, Caitlin, if you want to talk to us about the different strategies you're using to reach out to many women.
Hey, Kim. Yes, I would absolutely love to. Thank you for having me. I am super passionate about women. Not only am one, but I'm raising a little one. And something about being a mom to a daughter kind of changes things because you want to lead by example, right? And so my team is very fast growing. And it's because we're focused on mission. We are completely sold out to what we do. We're sold out to giving this opportunity that has changed our lives to others, because how selfish of us to keep it to ourselves. And so we are reaching people through all kinds of outlets. We do host a lot of events. One thing that I want to encourage people is, if you're nervous to host an event, it is kind of nerve-wracking if that's not something that you're used to doing or your comfort zone. Just start, just try it. It's okay if 5 people show up. It doesn't have to be 40, 50, 100, because guess what? Those 5 people are going to go tell their friends and family about what you did. And the next time you have one, word's on the street and more people are going to come. And so I'm going to encourage you just to do one thing. And it's okay to get out of your comfort zone, because that's how we grow. The other thing is, whether you're posting on social media or you're hosting a Zoom event or whatever it is, just be yourself, because people fall in love with you before they ever fall in love with the business. They fall in love with you and the mission before they ever fall in love with the product. So my advice on that, on the personal front, is lead with who you are. You're going to attract the people that are meant for you, and you're going to be able to touch a lot of people by just being yourself and using your God-given gifts. We do one event a month, and that just started. So I would say we've had a very successful 2 so far. One large event a year. And for that, we make it really, really fun. We tie in the financial aspect, but we don't sit and lecture. I am 35 years old and I am easily bored. And so I try to create all of my events for all people, but go in with that kind of mindset of, how can I reach and keep people entertained? And so what we're presenting and what we're teaching is actually registering. And not the guests being like, okay, how do I get out of here as soon as possible? And we actually usually have guests stay hours after our meetings are done, our events are done, because they have enjoyed the conversation. And the food, someone mentioned that, yes, having food is good. The environment that you are creating is going to set the tone for the way that they go speak about you and your mission to their friends and family. The other thing that I recommend is build a massive team, because guess what? When you have a massive team, then you already have your little messengers, right? So if you have 50 women on your team, that's 50 women inviting their friends and family to your event. It takes all the work and the pressure off just one person. And so that's what I did when I launched my big thing last year. I built a team first. I went wide, and then all of my teammates helped me contribute by inviting their friends and family. And my first event had over 200 women. And so I was very excited about that, but I cannot take credit for that myself. My team was a big aspect of that.
Well, you said so many important things, Caitlin. You're right. It doesn't matter the size of the get together. I've been at meetings with 3 women. I've been at meetings with 300 women. And anytime women come together, no matter how many there are, it is going to be an amazing event. So go ahead and take the pressure off yourself that you've got to have 100 women or 50 women. If 3 women, if 10 women, if 20 women, however many show up, that is a success.
I
And
agree with that. I totally agree with that. We have one of our girls just did her first event, and she was like, I only had 5 people. I'm like, 5 people, that is phenomenal. 5 people is more than one, okay? 5 people is a start, and we all are starting somewhere. And I think it's really important not to compare. So if you're on this event, or if you're on this event today and you host your first event in 2 months, and you have 5 people, like, well, those people are 38 people. That's okay. You will get there. We're all starting at different parts of our career and different chapters. So like, let's not compare someone's chapter 10 to our chapter 1. Just do it. Just start.
Absolutely. That is such a great message, Caitlin. Thank you for being with
You're
us.
welcome. You're
And
welcome.
thank
Thank you.
for all your help in making the Women's Day such a success.
You're welcome. It was an honor to get to work alongside you, Kim. Thanks.
So I'm going to call on Myrnie Mendoza next. So Myrnie is in Atlanta, but she moved here from California. She came to a brand new place, didn't know anybody, and yet she's holding women's events mostly through the contacts she's made through social media. So I asked Myrnie to kind of talk to us about the things she's doing on social media to reach that 1 million women.
Thank you so much, Kim, and it's such an honor to be here and to speak amongst all of the ladies that have already shared. I'm learning so much today. And I want to start by letting everybody know that the reason why I even got onto social media was out of necessity. So prior to COVID happening, I had already been in the business for about 18 years at that point, and I was used to doing things the old school way, where you reach out to somebody in person or you attend a local event, and that's how you meet other people, and that's how you connect and you eventually help them as a client or as an associate. And of course, COVID happened, and I was living in LA County at the time where nobody was going anywhere and meeting anybody. And so it was out of that necessity that I started to do things on social media. And as part of that, in my preparation for my move from Los Angeles to Atlanta, Georgia, I started to actually connect in local groups here in Atlanta, mainly in mom groups, because that's a demographic I can connect to very easily. And the main reason I chose mom groups is, as my husband says, the moms know everything. And what I was trying to figure out is where the best schools are, where do I want to have my kids go to school, where are the areas that I would like to live in. And because of that, I start to build new communities. And so I look at social media as my online community, because when you're not able to go out there and meet people, you still need to have connection with people. And for me, that was social media. Now, what I have found as an elder millennial is that the best platform for me happens to be Facebook and the groups that I have gone through Facebook. But if you're a baby boomer, maybe LinkedIn might be a better platform for you, or a Gen Xer, or if you are a Gen Z, you might be better off on Instagram. So it's about finding where your people are and then figure out how you can connect with them. And whether you're into cooking or into plants or whatever your thing might be, your hobby might be, that is the best place to find people that you can very easily connect to. As a result of my connection with local groups here, I have actually made so many new friends. This morning, I went on a walk with somebody that I had not met in person before. We met through a mom's group and decided to meet. We're both originally from California, went to the same university, didn't know each other there, but we met here in Atlanta and we were able to get together. I actually have somebody on this call today, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Julie. We actually met about 5 years ago. She started working with me virtually as a client. We both lived pretty close to each other in California. We never met, and we now happen to both live in the same part of North Atlanta. So after 5 years of working together, we had lunch in person for the first time last week here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's just to share that you can start off online, but the point of online is to make real connections and then hopefully at some point meet those people in person. And so that's how I've utilized social media. And also as an introvert, for me, it's just easier to meet people online. And then by the time we meet in person, it's like we've already known each other forever. And so it's just such an easy transition for me to do that. And what I love also about this is that what we do here, it's all about collaboration. We're not competing with other women. We're here to add value. So if you're joining a new community online, make sure you add more value than what you take away from that. And if they see you as that person that's resourceful, people will come to you and you're not having to go out there looking for people, because they're going to be searching you out and searching for your expertise. And I'm so fortunate that I get to do this within this environment of our amazing group of women here within WealthWave.
Well, and I love your approach, Myrnie, because it's not about trying to sell something to somebody. It's about connecting with people on things that you have in common, whether it's you're from California or you went to the same university or you're moms or you're new to the Atlanta area. You're looking for that common ground with people and developing the relationship before you enter into the conversation about what it is we do.
Absolutely, because people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care and they feel a connection with you. And as women, we need connection, I feel, above everything else.
That's exactly right. So I just love what you've done, Myrnie. And fresh from California, you built a successful business here at Atlanta. And it's been really great getting to work with you personally while you're here. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Kim.
So I want to go next to, the newest female EMD $250,000 ring earner in Wealth Wave, and that is the amazing Rose Macias. Rose has held women's events for many years. And in addition to that, Rose is developing a team of women leaders. So, Rose, if you would unmute yourself and talk to us about how you're reaching out to more women and then how you are helping those women on your team become leaders.
Well, thank you, Kim, for asking me to speak today. It truly is an honor, and especially talking about leadership. Leadership truly is about serving people, not waiting to be served, right? I know that the perspective of having a boss or having somebody kind of lean over your shoulders and kind of tell you what you to do your entire career, it's not what we do here. The only way we can build an organization is that we have to be an example, and leadership is an example. It's an action. It's not a title. It's not some whatever you get on a plaque that might be on your wall. It has nothing to do with that. It's the way that we treat people on the way up that really defines us in leadership. I do know that if you are somebody on this call and you're embracing leadership, and maybe you feel like you are and you feel like you aren't sometimes, and you're kind of questioning that about you, if you're someone that inspires people to dream more, want more, change more, contribute more, if you're inspiring them to be something other than themselves and truly just become something great for the community, you're a leader. You're a definition of a leader. And we want to embrace that here, that the only way that you can become someone successful that teaches financial education is, one, you have to lead by example with your clients. And also, if you're going to build an organization that is opening up learning centers all across the country like we are, if you're somebody that is truly here to contribute and to make that difference, I would consider you a leader. Now, a great leader, a good leader, is somebody who has a great idea, right? A fantastic idea, and they lead through their ideas. A great leader is someone who could lead through action, and a fantastic leader, the best leaders, are the ones who help other people become leaders and truly are examples that people want to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to, and they see something in you. And I know that this company is constantly attracting new leaders, and that has a lot to do with the leaders that have set the time and set the pace, like Kim Scouller and Sharon Lechter, and the financial tools and knowledge that she has developed throughout her years of experience. Leadership is not for the weak, but it is totally worth it. It is totally worth it. And watching people grow is the ultimate experience in life. And I know all of you that are on this call, watching your clients grow is one thing, but helping someone develop a career that they are proud of, that they are excited about, that they are embracing, that they wake up excited every day. And it doesn't matter how many hours they're talking to people, they are excited about pouring into others and helping them truly be the best version of themselves. So Kim, I appreciate you, because you are definitely somebody that I sought out to to see and be an example of. And to this day, you definitely are someone that I would consider a personal mentor of mine, that I know I have a great example. And if I ever get weary, I look at the good works that we're doing, and it's so powerful to be aligned with someone like you.
Oh, thank you so much, Rose. You have just set such a great example for so many people, but especially women, in the work that you do. And I love that you are working so hard to develop more strong women leaders like you to follow your example. So I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Kim.
So I am gonna ask Brandy Agnew to unmute herself now. We've talked a lot about in-person meetings, and I want Brandy to talk about some of the virtual meetings we've got planned for women for the rest of the year.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me on. Welcome, everybody. We had, I think at one point, 219 people on today. The fun part about this, some of you guys got invited and you were thinking you were coming to talking about financial stuff. And that's a part of what we're talking about. But today we're celebrating women. And the reason we're celebrating women is because we're the wave of the future. And you guys will hear more from Sharon Lechter in a little bit about just some things that we get to do to change the world. Today's event, you have more great speakers coming up, so stay tuned. Don't leave yet because the best is at the end. Well, I say that, it's all been amazing. But coming up, so we are doing 1 million women, and there is a Instagram hashtag 1 million women. And the reason that we're doing this is at our last convention, we talked about and I think Wendy shared some of these stats. She was saying how, women are going to control most of the financials in the nation. And with knowing that, if you know it's coming, that you're going to control some money, you might need to know what to do with it. And that is our passion for you, is for you guys to walk into this space, whether you're an agent with our firm, whether you're a guest of an agent with our firm, whatever reason that you're here, it's not on accident. So we want you to know about all the things coming up. And virtually April 17th, we have a financial literacy month, and this is going to be Kim Scouller as our host again, and she is telling the full story. If you are not aware of the women's book that has come out, we've talked about it a few times, and it's How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It. That is one of the things that Kim will be talking about, and it is powerfully chocked with full of information that every time I hear her speak, and I've heard her speak numerous times, I walk away with another gold nugget. It's every single time. And so you guys will get to hear from her. It's going to be all the characters. Make sure you tune in for that one. And Kim is sharing that on the screen right now. Go ahead and scan that QR code, take a screenshot, make sure you have it to share with your friends, do a watch party at your house, offer up some wine and appetizers and make it a pajama night. I don't know. You guys do what you need to do, but I'm telling you, get your friends there. May 22nd, we all know and celebrate our moms. None of us are here without a mom, right? And so our host is going to be none other than Julie Johnson, who you got to hear from earlier today. And she is going to be talking about May, who's in the book. And if you don't have the book, ask the person that invited you to get that book. And this is going to talk about the caregiver role and the things that women do, why we make less money, and the things that women do that cause us to maybe have to do more than the average, just get up and go to work kind of thing. And so you don't want to miss that one. Then we have in June 19th, 2025, 6 p.m. So all of these, you can see the time on the screen, so I won't go into that. But we have Kata, who Kata looks like a man, but she's really a woman. It's just she has someone else's Zoom. And she is going to be talking about the thing that people do out in June. Probably if I could see a raise of hands, a lot of us got married in June, right? And so weddings happen, couples get together. It's a great time to get married. And then we're going to also have as a guest speaker, and she's here today, Lauren Matthews Ferry, none other than Tom Matthews, who's the original writer of the How Money Works book. And she's going to talk about her experience and what she wrote in the new book that's coming up that you guys are going to hear about in a minute, about sharing your finances and financial goals. So anyone that's on this call, if you have young people, so my kids age 20 to 30 something, the millennials, the next generation, the Gen Z, if you have anybody in that age group, make sure you get them on this call, because Lauren and Krista wrote a book that is powerful. It's written in that age group language. It is amazing to listen to them. So don't miss that one. Then we have coming up in July, Independence Day. And we have none other but Sandy Miller out of Louisville, Kentucky. And she has been in the industry over 40 years. And she is passionate about women and getting people their financial independence. But her guest is going to be none other than Jan Matthews. And so if you get the women's book, you'll see this common pattern. Get the women's book, call the person that invited you and say, hey, I want the book. Make them give it to you for free. Don't go buy it on Amazon. You make them give it to you. Okay. And that is going to be Tom Matthews and Lauren Matthews Ferry and Krista Matthews' grandmother. And she is a phenomenal woman to follow, and the fact that she is financially independent as a single woman, up in age, but still living a phenomenal life. And you guys don't want to miss that one. So I'd say get your grandmas, get your next door neighbors that are maybe a little up there in age, get everyone you know to hear the wisdom that you can hear from that talk on 4th or 17th of July. Okay, that moves us to August. August, we have a host, Supra Plows, and she is also out of Las Vegas with Kata, over 19 years in the industry, and she's going to do none other than back to school. So one of the things that we all talk about, we all send our kids to school, and then we get the bill in the mail and go, oh gosh, let's pay that off. I have an agent on my team right now who has $100,000 worth of debt from his master's degree and his bachelor's degree, and he is struggling to find, a job and something that can pay that off in less than 25 years. And so that's one of the things that you guys want to get your young people. So if you have those kids about to go into college or already in college, let's talk about how do we get out of the school debt? How do we keep ourselves at a place that we're not always reacting and being in debt? So she is going to have Krista Matthews, the other author of How Money Works, The Next Generation. And this is going to give so much information, you guys, because we're at this place where we're moving from everybody going to college. We might be doing trade schools. They're going to have so much wisdom for you. So get college students, anyone of that age group in there. And then we have coming up, we have September 18th. We have Angie Gentry and myself, over 20 years of combined experience. And our goal for this one is Insurance Awareness Month. In our industry, in the financial industry, it's not often taught how to be properly protected. Yet that's one of the reasons we can go bankrupt. And if our spouse dies, if my husband dies today and I lose half my income, my bills don't cut in half. So Angie and I are super excited to bring this awareness to people because it's such a small cost for such a great gain. And so we want you guys to know that. We're going to be talking about Dana in this portion of the 1 Million Women events. And then we have October 16th, and I'm excited about this one, but it's a hard topic. This one is going to be on domestic violence. And if any of you guys have walked through that, one of the things that we're really passionate about is helping women get back on their feet. And I happen to come from an abusive marriage, and we had some hard things going through our lives, but you end up being very broke. And when you go through that space, you just need some wisdom. Kim is going to do an amazing special presentation on that one. Don't miss it. Find anybody that you know that has gone through that, even if it's past tense, have them come to it because they will gain some knowledge, and bring anyone that you know is going through it. November, December, we're going to hold off a little bit because it's going to be, busy seasons. Moms are busy in the holiday season, and we know that and respect that. So make sure you scan this QR code, come to every one of them, invite as many people. Our goal, you guys, is to help 1 million women take control. Thanks for having me on, Kim.
Thanks so much, Brandy. So you can see we've got a lot of events planned for the rest of the year. Make sure you get that QR code and you sign up, and you invite guests to sign up for all or any of the characters Brandy talked about. So next, I want to ask Lauren and Krista to unmute themselves. You all know they showed at convention their new book, How Money Works for the Next Generation. And there are just so many great things that this book is going to teach for men and women of the younger generation. But for women in particular, it's really, there's been a lot of overlap. You can see Krista did an interview in Portland. This is a picture taken from my hotel TV of her during that interview. She also did a great interview in Sacramento. And then when we were in Modesto, she did a really wonderful presentation about the book that she and Lauren wrote. So I asked them to come on and talk to us a little bit about the book and what we can expect and the overlap with women in particular.
Well, thank you, Kim, so much for having us. We're so excited to represent the millennials today and represent our generation here. We're really on a movement right now. We're on an education movement to equip young students, graduates, young women, even future women leaders with the knowledge they need to really understand how money works and how their money can work for them. I mean, we deeply want to empower this next generation to be able to make smart financial decisions on their own and help them build the confidence early on in handling their money, planning for the future, because it's on our mind and we just don't know where to start. We have an idea of where we'd like to be, but we don't always know those financial steps to get there.
Yeah, it's so true. And, the women's book, as we all know, is really meant for half the population, right? Anybody that is a woman and is going through life and trying to figure out their money situation. And our next generation book really focuses on that 18 to 40-year-old range. So just call it when you're in that early adulthood stage of life. And I think the crossover happens when you are a young woman, because then you almost have two amazing resources where one, it kind of goes through, this is what you need to be thinking about as a young person, whether it's the mindset, we have a whole section of the book called First, which is I think maybe Krista and I's favorite section. But going through your first home, your first car, getting married and merging finances, maybe a career change or starting a family, whatever those firsts are, going through, what you need to be thinking about financially in terms of those things. And those decisions that you're making often can set your life up for those they affect your life for the rest of your life. And then to know, how there are those differentiators for women and how that might be affected is really the cherry on top. I mean, you really have the full picture if you're considering the crossover of the two books. So it's the best of both worlds. You couldn't be better than that. So if you're young and a woman, you're good to go. You're set.
Exactly. And Krista, you were with me attending those women's events in Portland and Modesto. If you could talk to the fact that there were so many young women in both crowds who really responded to not only what we were talking about for women, but what you were talking about for young people.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, speaking at an event for How Money Works for Women to a table and an event full of women was an awesome experience. I mean, just looking out and seeing young women that were so eager to really take control of their finances, it was inspiring. It inspired me to continue sharing this and talking with all of our friends and peers and coworkers, right? Because, like you often say, women talk about everything with their girlfriends, right? And what if we started talking more about our finances? What if we planned as thoroughly as we did for our weddings and our family vacations as we do our financial picture? So it was really, really wonderful. The energy in that room was amazing. I mean, it really reminded me that a lot of these younger women are hungry for this financial education and they're ready to break these barriers, right? When it comes to building their wealth and building their financial confidence. It was so, so wonderful. And I'm so thankful that I got to go out there and really talk with them because a lot of the young women came up to me and said, well, I'm only 18 or 19, but I really felt like you were talking to me. I really felt like I resonated with some of those concepts. They seem like they could be a couple decades away, but I think what I learned here today is I need to start now, right? I said, yes, yes, that is exactly right.
Well, one of the points we make in the women's book is that the number one financial regret that women have is that they didn't invest more money earlier. And I think, Lauren, a big point you all make in the book is time. Your biggest asset is time. If you could maybe talk to that and the impact for women in particular, because we start off behind.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's why we made, part of the title Act Now or Pay Later. And at the end of every single chapter in the book, we say, this is what acting now looks like, and this is what paying later looks like. So we try to make it really clear that time is on your side. And as a young person, you may not have experience on your side. You may be doing things for the very first time, really unsure. You may be starting behind, like you're saying, maybe you have to. I actually have a personal friend who had to leave college, take care of her sick parents, and then went back to college. So, women have things that happen in life where their timelines might get a little skewed. And so when those things happen, you have to be able to figure out, okay, how can I financially make up for that lost time or make decisions that really still set me up for success? And so, we really tried hard in the book to make sure that we spell those things out. And specifically, Krista and I painstakingly went through and made sure that we used all words that nobody will have to Google. Meaning, if there is a financial word that we felt like causes confusion, like for example, one of the things Krista and I get asked all the time by young people is they cannot remember for the life of them the difference between net pay and gross pay. I mean, I know that's so silly, but sometimes things like that hold up women, especially because they think, oh, well, I don't know enough, or I'm just not educated enough, so I'm just not gonna dive in, or I'm not gonna, maybe this isn't for me. It almost paralyzes them to the point where they end up doing nothing for a longer period of time. So we said, that's not happening with this book. So we laid out everything. I mean, in my example there, we have a little chart that explains the difference and has little things to help you remember the difference between the two. Or we have a pretend paycheck that we show you, and we have arrows that point and say, like, this is, what FICA means, and this is where Social Security comes out. And we explain it to you because, there's a good chance no one's ever sat down and showed this to you. And you might have just graduated from a 4-year, institution where you have this degree in this really cool area, but nobody ever talked to you about the Rule 72 or how money works concepts that really will help you in your future. So it's extremely important to act now and to use that time on your side, because there is only a small period of time that time is on your side, right? You are only young for so long. And so using that to your advantage is really what we spell out very clearly. And but the most important message is you have to take action. All of these principles won't do anything for you if you don't take action, right? You have to have the knowledge and then move and do something about it. So it's great.
Well, thank you both for being on the Zoom and for writing such an amazing book. Everyone's gotten the electronic copy of it, and the printed copies will be available very soon. Expect to see an announcement about that in the next couple of weeks. I can't wait to get a personal.
Thank you, Kim. We appreciate it.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
So now I want to introduce our really very special guest speaker who puts the exclamation point on everything she does. And to, close out Women's History Month, we definitely have to hear from Sharon Lechter. You all have heard me introduce her before. She co-wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad and several other books in the Rich Dad series. She served as president of the Rich Dad Company for 10 years before leaving to collaborate with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, where she wrote Think and Grow Rich for Women, 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, just to name a few of her New York Times bestsellers. She has consulted with 2 U.S. presidents on financial literacy matters, works at the federal and the state level to make sure that financial education is available for everyone. And so my dear friend and co-author of the book, How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It, Sharon Lechter.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm just sitting here just like about 5 feet taller than normal because I'm just so proud of it. Because when Kim and I got together to talk about doing this book, I remember she and Tom called me and I was like, wow, what a compliment that you'd like me to participate in this. And as we work through the process of putting the book together, it was like, this is going to be interesting. We're doing this like graphic novel. We're going to see if it really touches people's hearts. And I'm just pleased as punch, as my mother would have said from Alabama, to see the incredible impact that you are all making by utilizing this tool. I mean, it was so much fun. We had a whole long conversation about what the cover was supposed to look like and what the title was going to be. So it was a fun process, and I'm just so proud to see it and hear all of your stories. And today really is a day of collaboration. I've been taking notes about the ways you guys have promoted your events and shared it. And, above all of you share something in common. You're creating a safe environment. And that's like one of the most important things for women. We like to talk a lot. We're like girlfriends, But when we talk about something personal, we want to be safe. And you're doing that. And in doing that, you're also creating an opportunity for them to learn about the different characters we have in the book so that they can say, wow, that's me. I have that in my life. And last year, Fidelity Investments did a survey, 93% of women in America, 93% of women in America are stressed out about money. That's the highest it's ever been in my very, very long career. So that provides us stress, but it's also an opportunity for you to create the environment that will attract all of these women to find help, to find compassion, to find the tools they need to create a better financial tomorrow than today. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. And interest rates on credit cards are at an all-time high. Plus, I heard one of our speakers talked about getting corporations to bring in the education, and that is absolutely vital. It is an opportunity for you to talk to business leaders, because the latest survey just said US companies are losing $4.7 billion a week. Each week, close to $5 billion in productivity because of employees being stressed out about money. You cannot be present when you're worried about them repossessing your car in the parking lot. You cannot be present when you're getting texts and calls about overdue payments. And so it's a huge opportunity that you have the opportunity to fill. And by utilizing how money works for women, you've got the success stories. I hear them at every convention. I hear, I love the story where she said somebody came up to you and said, I'm May, right? And it's such an incredible thing because we want to feel like we belong. And when we have a problem, we just want to be alone. We're afraid to share. We are afraid to look like we are stupid. But to know that this is an issue that so many of us share, that we can help each other and provide that environment of love and compassion and strategy, answers, and a pathway to a better tomorrow. And I'm just so proud of WealthWave. It's just incredible. Tom, incredible company. I'm so proud of his daughters. I love their book. We still need to get you on my podcast. They're doing such a great job, and I just love their smiles and their heart. And I know they're going to truly make an impact on the younger generation. And I'm just so thrilled about all of it. But each and every one of you that has spoken today is an incredible heart-centered servant leader. And that's what this whole organization is. You lead by empowering those around you. Leadership can have the simple definition of influence, but let's hope it's positive. And that's what you do. You bring a positive form of leadership and support to people around you, giving them answers that they never had an opportunity to learn. And what happens is people get into such a financial level of stress, they feel there's no way out. And they are afraid to even confront it. So they try to ignore it, and it just gets worse. So by continuing to reach out to people, reach out to women and their friends. I love that marketing tool as well. Bring a friend, because they're a lot less afraid when they have someone with them. There's nothing like girlfriends. I cherish Kim, and I cherish all of you that I've had the absolute honor to meet through WealthWave. You guys are just knocking it out of the park in a very positive way. And I love Rose. You're just vitalizing women leaders all over. And this organization is still the #1 in supporting and facilitating women's growth professionally, as well as personally in the financial arena. And it's something that when they ask, I'm always going to try and participate if I can to support you. And I'm just I tell people all the time now, I've written 28 books. And I've always been asked, what's your favorite one? And I tell people, well, it's like asking me who's my favorite child. But these days, I tell them my favorite book is How Money Works for Women, because I think it is the most impactful. It's not intimidating. It's full of love and friendship. And I think I'm getting tons of positive feedback about things. They find an answer to something in it. And it's not, it really covers every aspect of the impact of financial issues in our lives. And I'm just so proud of it. I'm just so proud of Kim. What an incredible leader she is in this organization. And she's so humble, amazingly humble, and yet always there to support all of you. And today's event is just a perfect example of a leader who's pouring in to those around her. So I know we talk about leadership from front, but I think this organization is full of leaders who are in a circle around everyone they touch. We talk about legacy. Legacy is not when you're gone. Legacy is created every single day with every heart you touch. I just got an award last week, a Legend Award. I've been getting a few of those, and it's like, I think people are trying to give me a message that I'm done, but I'm not. I'm continuing to go forward. But your legacy is important because you were created to be perfectly you, not someone else, you. And you have every right, every tool, everything you need to create great success. It comes from within. What we've been able and proud to do is create a tool that can help you be more effective, that can help you maybe find some language to use to inspire other people, to create that environment of love and compassion, because you're doing it. I just love coming to your conventions and being there and just feeling the love and feeling the collaborative spirit. I don't ever feel competition when I'm around you. You guys are collaborative, supporting each other and cheering each other on. It just makes me so thrilled. And as I say, I sit here with just such a smile on my face and such gratitude to see that something that I played a small role in with helping Kim get this done is impacting so many people in such a positive way. And Kim, I'd love for you to come back on, because I just want everybody in the chat to give Kim the accolades and the appreciation, the love. She's a driving force, but a quiet one.
Well, you have set such a great example for all of us, Sharon. You've been kind of an idol and model for me for many, many years. Not that you're old, not that either of us is old, but you have been that, shining example for me about, what one person can get done. And, just speaking your voice, what you can get done. It is just really, really incredible. And it inspires me and all of us that we can reach 1 million women, through the book and through our meetings, through our connections personally and through social media, that we can help 1 million women take control and beyond that.
I think you're pretty close when you look at the impact of who's been on this show today and look at but you're already there, Kim, but I think you're going to do that 10x because you have the tools and the heart. I mean, people see authenticity, and you have the whole organization is there to help others. And I think it's very important for all of us to recognize that it's a team playing environment. And that environment is one that's going to only grow and draw more women to you because it's a safe. Again, I go back to how I started this. Women look for somewhere safe. Yeah, you've got the stats about, women when they divorce or become widow, they change their financial advisor because they don't feel safe in that environment. They don't feel trusted or valued in that environment. So they need to find a place where they find that trust, but where they find that loyalty. I mean, we're very loyal creatures, we women, and you want to find a place where you have that trust, know, like, and trust the people that support you, and that loyalty will be there.
You know, we've seen such a cross section of women leaders in Wealth Wave today, and it gives me so much encouragement and joy to hear from them, all backgrounds, all areas of the country, all age levels, and out there, you know, fighting the good fight and reaching out to more women. You know, you've seen it for a while, again, not that you're old, but do you notice a shift?
Oh, absolutely. And it just makes me so happy. I mean, I was the only woman around for years when I first started my career. So we didn't, and the women that were around me, and even a couple that were ahead of me, they were very nice to each other because they felt like they had to fight to get where they were, and they didn't want to look weak by helping other women. And it was a huge issue. And to see it evolve through the years to where I see the number of women out there that have achieved levels of success through service, right? And,
Right.
become servant leaders and don't sell but serve. Because when you sell, it's a transaction. You got to go find the next transaction. When you serve, you create a relationship that creates that trust, creates that safety net, creates that loyalty, and you have clients forever.
Right, exactly. Well, Sharon, I want to thank you so much for being a guiding example for us, for working with me on the book, and for continuing the amazing collaboration you have with Wealth Wave and all of the things that we're doing to help eradicate financial illiteracy.
Well, thank you, Kim, and I appreciate everybody that's on this call today, and I applaud you. It makes me so happy and so proud. I feel like, a mother hen here looking at all her chicks out there making a huge impact, and it makes me very happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon. So before I let everyone go, I just wanted to share a couple of announcements with you. So Brandy went through this list, and you all can see the QR code for the virtual events. Feel free to invite your guests, but when you do that, encourage them, because in the registration link, it'll ask who invited you. So make sure they put your name down, and that way we can get the information to you. If they join through one of your social media groups, ask them to, put your name down, who posted it. Because if it's a social media group, it's a little bit harder for us to know who we need to get that information to. Now, in addition to the virtual meetings, we're doing events all around the country, as you all heard today. I recently was in Cincinnati. I did a TV interview with Fox 19 there. And I did this wonderful event with the original Jan. You'll recognize her from the picture in the book, Tom Matthews' mother, Krista and Lauren's grandmother, as well as our rising leader in Cincinnati, Janet Booth. We had a great event there. But, get on our schedule. We've got some upcoming events. April 5th, I'll be in Denver with Sean and Brandy's group. May 3rd, I'll be in Arizona, the Phoenix Mesa area, again with Sean and Brandy Agnew's group. May 13th, Krista and I will be in Ontario, California with Lester Barron's group. May 14th, this is not definitive yet, but we're finalizing it. We're planning to be in Orange, California with the great leaders there, including Mark Redman, Joshua Hernandez, Susan, just some really amazing leaders in Orange. And then May 15th, Krista and I plan to be in San Diego with great leaders there who are part of Robin Bundy's team. May 16th and 17th, I'm planning to be in Las Vegas with Robin Bundy's group. So we've got our schedule up through May. If you'd like to have us come out to do an event, let us know. We will check our calendar. And again, if we can't be there in person, we'll send a video, whatever you need. We will put the resources together for you. And then the final note, at 1 million women take control. Please follow it. I want everyone to send me your pictures, me or Carlin. Send us pictures of your events, flyers of your events. It's easy to find me. I'm at kim@wealthwave.com. Carlin is carlin@wealthwave.com. Send us your pictures because we plan to post all of that on @1 million women take control on Instagram. We're also creating a YouTube channel where we're going to put our virtual meeting videos, including the video of this event. So I hope you all have had just a great time listening to these amazing women who've spoken today. I hope you're enjoying Women's History Month, but it should be, we celebrate women and men all year round, especially at Wealth Wave. But you all know by 2030, women are expected to control $30 trillion of the wealth in this country. So the future is women. I hope you all have an incredible day, and I will see you all very soon. Goodbye. Thank you for joining us.